It takes all of us. End racism. Black Lives Matter. Vote for Democrats. These words and phrases were on the back of jerseys in 2020 and the end zones in the NFL, as well as the ultimate political symbol.
The mask. The mask. No, not that one.
The mask. 2020 was the most irritating year in sports ever. How do we fix it? Get your politics out of my sport.
15 yards.
I've been a lifelong sports fan. I played football. I coached football. I currently play racquetball. I'm not very good, though. My friend beats me all the time. And I've been just so irritated with 2020. COVID, all of the political statements they are shoving down our throats. And yes, I will concede I'm making a political statement by saying, hey, stop talking about politics and sports. I'm speaking, though, for those people out there that are very irritated, just like I am, with the fact that they can't watch their teams anymore because on the back of their jerseys, they have all this social justice messaging. On the end zones, they say end racism. Well, I see that. Now I'm no longer going to be racist or anybody out there. Why be racist anymore? Because the NFL said so, and and they told us to vote for Democrats. They put it up on the inside the bubble at all times. It's just so frustrating. I'm sorry. It gets to the point where you are just completely alienating half of your fan base. I think Michael Jordan said it best. Republicans buy sneakers too. And he said that in the best documentary ever that saved the summer, The Last Dance. Everyone should check that out. Greatness on display right there. But last year was really kind of interrupted by COVID, as it did to everybody else. And it forced the NBA and NHL to cancel their seasons, or not cancel, postpone them until they can figure out a way to handle it. So when they returned, it followed the George Floyd eruption of violence and protests throughout the nation. So everyone had to say their piece. Everyone was forced, hey, you need to say that you stand against racism and inequality and everything. So everyone went on board with that. The NHL wasn't as bad. They put up, we skate for equality, we skate for Black lives. Okay, whatever, they put it up on their border. I agree with that. Equality and Black lives, I'm all for. You don't need to tell me that, but the NBA was the most egregious. They put it all over their courts and on the back of their jerseys. Some players were asked, why don't you have it on the back of your jersey? And some of them said, well, I just want to focus on me. The back of the jersey, I think, should be reserved for the last name of the player to honor their mother and father. And the front reserved for your team. You're playing for your team. You're trying to win for your team and for your city. And all this stuff kept getting pushed and pushed on us. It was very similar to the 2016 Colin Kaepernick, let's take a knee for the national anthem, and everyone took a knee, of course, during this. But I think that's going to be a whole nother topic. I don't even want to get into that right away. That's a whole thing to unpack. But going off of all that, also we had to deal with COVID and the political symbol of the mask. Now, I'm not an epidemiologist. I understand you have to wear your mask in close quarters, whatever, all that stuff. Okay, I'm not against all that stuff. But it's silly. The way they implemented some of it, you get off the court after trading sweat with the other player, and you got to put your mask on the sideline, or the coaches have to put their mask on when they grab their players sometimes and say, hey, I need to do better. Same with the NFL players. They wear their mask after they've been trading sweat, and you see some of the coaches, like Andy Reid on the opening night for the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, his face shield was completely fogged up and he couldn't see. He looked ridiculous. Players and coaches getting fined for not wearing masks. It's overkill, people. Please, all of the policy for the mask you need to let off. Let them just go out and be normal and play. And I understand that you don't want to outbreak. It happened a few times. It was frustrating to see that. It was frustrating to see games get canceled last year too. I feel for all those college football players that had half their seasons wiped out, like the Big Ten, the Pac-12. They played only 5 or 6 games, but it didn't help. Ohio State still got in to the national championship game to get walloped by Alabama, but whatever. They still dominated. But the mask, the political symbol of that was on full force. Everyone wears it all the time anyway. But we gotta get to a point where we're just focusing on the players, the X's and O's, the trades that are happening, all the cool things. Coaches getting hired and fired mid-season, at the end of the season. All this interesting stuff. The game, focusing on the best player, the best teams. That's where it needs to be. Leave your politics and the religion out of the workplace. I think that's a good virtue to extend to all the players. Hey, let's focus on that instead of shoving it down everybody's throat. I understand it's, Donnie, just ignore it, whatever. It's hard to ignore because I've been so passionate about football and watching basketball throughout the years, and now hockey. Go Bolts. They won the Stanley Cup last year. But I want to know what you guys think. Should we just remove politics from sports completely? I personally think it should be left to Twitter in your post-game press conferences. Just do that. And let us know. And we have a Facebook. Please give us a like there. Follow us on the gram as well. And we'll see you next time on The Course Correct.